It's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now I'm about to show you two short videos of Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers ducking and weaving. The first video is from yesterday, Tuesday the 5th of May 2026, where Jim Chalmers tried to blame the Iran war for 100% of Australia's economic problems. But they didn't wash. So today, Wednesday the 6th of May 2026, he's backpedaled a bit. Now he says Iran war is just a major reason for Australia's economic problems. But we had major economic problems well before the Iran war, which has only been going 9 to 10 weeks. And this is important because Jim Chalmers is not only the Federal Treasurer, and we should be able to trust him, but he's also a prospective future Prime Minister. And his honesty is relevant to whether he should be Prime Minister or not. And when he's ducking and weaving on key issues, not a good look. Now, I've put the two short videos together and I've embedded myself as a reaction video, and I'll show you that now.
Now, when it comes to decisions taken in Washington, D.C. or indeed in Tehran,
Notice how he hasn't mentioned Israel. Now, Israel is the one who started the war, but it's definitely government policy. I've called Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong out before for failing to mention Israel when they're discussing the war. So it's obviously government policy, and Jim Chalmers has fallen into line and he's not mentioning Israel as well.
Australians are hostage to those decisions taken about the conduct of this war and the end of this war. I think that's self-evident. From an economic point of view, from the point of view of a lot of Australians battling with these cost of living pressures, this war in the Middle East can't come soon enough.
Look, Australia's had cost of living pressures, rental crisis, housing crisis for a long time before the war. The war's only been going 9, 10 weeks. And here he is trying to load it all up on the war, blame the war for everything.
And we've said that in different ways in recent times. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get into a kind of a rolling critique of the conduct of the war, but my job is to manage the Australian economy, and the Australian economy is getting absolutely pummeled by this war in the Middle East, and Australians are paying the price for that, and we're seeing that again today with this interest rate decision.
So there you have the Federal Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, blaming the war 100% for Australia's economic problems, and yesterday's interest rate rise, 100% blamed on the war, even though we've had problems with inflation for quite a while now, quite a few years, I suppose. And we've had big problems with the rental crisis, the housing crisis, the cost of living crisis. That's been going on for a fair few years. But he seems to blame the war for everything. Now, the video you just watched then was yesterday, Tuesday, the 5th of May, 2026. And the video we're about to watch is from Wednesday, the 6th of May, 2026, Wednesday morning. Let's watch it.
Keep spending and it's going to get harder to temper inflation. That is Michelle Bullock's warning to the federal government this morning. To discuss, Treasurer Jim Chalmers joins us live from Canberra. Treasurer, good morning to you.
Morning,
How
Carl.
does it feel to get fiscally dacked by the Reserve Bank Governor?
Obviously, I don't see it that way, Carl. This will be a really responsible budget because we take this inflation challenge in our economy seriously, because we know that people are under pressure. The Governor was asked a hypothetical question about some budget speculation, that there'd be a heap more stimulus in the budget. There won't be a heap more stimulus in the budget. In fact, the budget will wind back spending overall, and that's because
What he didn't mention then, and what he doesn't mention at all during this interview, is the fact that the spending in defence is going up in a major way. Then they add that to AUKUS. So the defence spending over the next 10 years is an extra $50 billion odd, extra $5 billion a year. Add that to the $368 billion AUKUS fraud, where we're paying for 8 submarines we'll never get.
we recognise that even though the budget's not the primary driver of these price spikes that we're seeing in our economy right now, we can play a helpful role in the fight against inflation, and that's what the budget will be all about.
You can't solve, obviously, the issue of government spending by spending more, though.
We'll be spending less in the budget over the 4 years, Carl. We'll make that clear on Tuesday night. We found a bunch of savings to make sure that we are trimming the budget where we can, making room for priorities like urgent care clinics and Medicare.
In defence, making urgent spending on defence a major policy.
Funding the fuel tax cut, these sorts of really important steps that we are taking. But overall, we'll be winding back spending. There won't be a heap of new stimulus in the budget. The Governor,
except for defence,
was asked about that budget speculation in a hypothetical way and gave a hypothetical answer. I think everyone watching your show this morning, Carl, understands that the big reason we've had these recent spikes in prices is because we've got a major war in the Middle East.
Now, yesterday it was basically the sole reason, and we'll watch that again in a minute. But now it's a big reason. So he's wound it back. He's obviously, they have hundreds of people following social media, the government does, giving the government feedback. And they've obviously seen on social media yesterday when Jim Chalmers tried to blame the war 100%, blame the war 100% for the interest rate increase yesterday. On social media, I posted all over social media saying, look, that's a lie, and people were calling out, that's a lie, he's blamed the war, but he doesn't mention the fact that the government is supporting the war in Iran, and he's obviously had feedback. Don't try and blame the Iran war 100% for Australia's financial crisis, just say it's a major reason.
We had an inflation challenge before that as well, which the government takes seriously.
Do you take responsibility for it?
I take responsibility for all parts of my job when it comes to the fight against inflation. That's why the budget will be a really responsible budget. It will take the inflation challenge seriously because we know people are under pressure. A big reason for that right now is a war in the Middle East.
Once again, a big reason for that now is a war in the Middle East. What bullshit. Like I said before, we had the housing crisis, the rental crisis, the cost of living crisis well before the war in Iran, which has only been going 9-10 weeks.
But these inflationary pressures have been hanging around in our economy, and part of the...
So he admits that the inflationary pressures have been hanging around in the economy. In other words, they were a big issue before the war.
Reasons for the budget position that we will take on Tuesday night, part of the reasons why we're winding back spending overall is because we want to play a helpful role here. That's what the budget will be about.
So did you tell?
So there you have it. Yesterday it was 100% because of the war. That was the only issue affecting Australia's economic problems. But today it's a major issue. So he's wound it back because he's obviously had feedback. Hey, don't try and spin that bullshit that people aren't buying it. And they've monitored social media and they've gotten that feedback that people aren't buying the bullshit. So let's see again what he said yesterday.
But my job is to manage the Australian economy, and the Australian economy is getting absolutely pummeled by this war in the Middle East, and Australians are paying the price for that, and we're seeing that again today with this interest rate.
So Australia's getting absolutely pummeled because of the Iran war. We're paying the price. The Australian public are paying the price, and you've seen that with the interest rate rise yesterday. Nothing else. No housing crisis, no rental crisis, no cost of living crisis, which have been going on for years. It was just totally the Iran war. And Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media, I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself. And they've been running a campaign over the last 20-odd weeks trying to raise funds. And the details of that fundraising are below this video on YouTube and also on my website. So please support that if you can. And please do your bit to help shine a light on corruption and share this video on social media. And please hit the like and subscribe button and notification button. That way you get notified when I publish a new video. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.